Hello there. It's Rosalind, the wise one. Welcome back to a Triple Shot of Sass, where real women talk real life, real healing, and we do it with enough flavor to wake up your spirit. We like to put a little extra flavor in your tea. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's very close to my heart and mind. We're talking about mental health and mindfulness in our communities. You know, our people of color. It's not something we really talk about, tends to be taboo. For too long, we've been surviving in silence. Yeah, we've been carrying trauma like it was an heirloom, passing it down from generation to generation like, baby, this is just how we cope. This is just how it is. People have done it their whole lives. You can do this. Today, not here, not on this show. Today, we're naming it. Mental health is not taboo, it's human. And mindfulness, that's not the laundry. That's how we stay alive without breaking. So sit back, relax, listen. We hope that we say something that will resonate with you and let you know that it is all right to seek help. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Miss Tawana, the Empire Diva.
And hello and hello and hello again. And as a matter of fact, let's be honest. So many of us grew up in houses where therapy was like, take it to Jesus and it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all
Just,
right.
It's
it's
gonna
going to
be
be
all
all right.
right.
Just pray about it. Just pray
Have
about
a
it.
little talk with Jesus.
It'll make everything all
Tell
right.
them all about our troubles.
That's
Yes.
it.
Y'all can see we got church girls here, right? Got some church girls here, right? And y'all know that this is what our parents used to tell us, right?
Yeah.
He told us about therapy. It was pray about it, baby. You're gonna be all right. Just pray about it. It
Yeah.
was like it was a stigma. It was generational silence, right? They don't tell anybody our business. Girl, don't you go tell nobody what's going on in this house.
In this house.
We stay right here in this house. Don't tell nobody our business, because that is not what we do. We don't care what you're going through. We're going to work it out right here, and we don't need nobody else knowing what's going on in our house, right?
That's
That was the
it.
culture. That was our culture, right? And the strong Black woman myth that has a chokehold on too many of us for so long. And it's time for us to break that cycle.
That's
So,
it.
right now, I'm going to turn it over to the firecracker, Miss Katrina Walker Donaldson.
Hello, hello, hello. So, yeah, T, that thing about what goes in our house, what goes on in our house stays in our house. That is still happening today. And I believe that that is the reason that so many people don't come forward when they have that uncle over there, you know, and your mama telling you, so and so about to come over, put on some clothes. This is my house.
Mhm.
Why I gotta why I gotta change clothes? This is my house. So I think that a lot of people, the stigma, fear, they just don't want to, they really have nowhere to go and no one to talk to. We've learned to survive without feelings. We've learned strength, but not softness. And I refuse to choose between the two because I want to be soft and I also want to have strength. But when I tell you, I have been in therapy for years, 4 years. And now living in North Carolina, I need to find a therapist. That's that's on my to-do list. But what I did, I think Tawana, you talked about this before, where your therapist said, if you are here, I don't know if it's a year or two or whatever, then apparently I'm not doing my job if you're still coming here. So I believe that I have taken the tools that I learned and I applied that to my everyday life. And I think I also share that wisdom that I've learned. So
Can I,
today we
can I,
go.
can I, I'm
Sure,
sorry. Can I jump
go
in?
ahead. Hmm.
You're right. What my therapist said to me was I was not going to be with her for the rest of my life.
There,
If I was going to be with her for the rest of my life, then she wasn't doing her job. Now,
exactly.
that did not mean that I was not going to need tune-ups,
Hmm.
so because I need a tune-up right now. Quiet as a kept. I need a tune-up right now, and I recognize that. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm so glad when I walked in there, she said that to me because that let me know that she wasn't there just for the money,
Exactly.
right? Because I prayed for that lady. I prayed and I asked God, I said, I need someone, and I didn't say African American because I'm okay. Forgive me for those who might get offended. I'm really okay with being Black. So I prayed for a Black woman. I prayed for a Christian
Hmm.
woman. Um, well, and I prayed for a woman, of course. So there was three things that I asked God for. I wanted a woman, I wanted that woman to be a Christian, and I wanted her to be Black. And He gave me all three.
That's good.
So I am so happy that I decided to do that. And I thank you ladies also for supporting me in that
Hmm.
process because for a long while, y'all was my therapist, my therapist. But you both realized that I needed someone else because you love me unconditionally.
Hmm.
And so
Right.
there were certain things that I needed from someone who did not know me and who did not know my story. So
Exactly.
I just wanted to say that before we kept going.
Okay, so today we will break the silence and the stigma and normalize emotional support. So grab your cup, with or without coffee, tea, your shot of tequila, or whatever, sparkling water, because today we are talking about healing out loud,
Yes.
about saying, I'm not crazy, I'm just carrying history, and I deserve peace. So I will turn it over to the wise one.
Well, thank you, Katrina. Tawana, you crack me up about, about your therapist, and I'm so glad that you both have connected with therapists that you enjoy. I have also benefited from therapy, and every good therapist, every good counselor, and every good coach also needs one. So while I am a
Yes.
coach and while I am a counselor, I also have sought the expertise of a therapist. And so it really is very near and dear to my heart. So let's warm it up a little bit. I want to talk about what mental health looks like in the houses we grew up in because baby, that's where the blueprint starts, right? uh in my house, and God knows I love my mother, God rest her soul, and she was really very open, but we never heard the word therapy used in a positive light. Or, in fact, I don't think growing up I ever heard of anybody having therapy, right? Now, did I hear of perhaps some adults potentially losing their minds, as some of the old folks would say, or they didn't went over the cuckoo's nest, as some of them would say. But I never really heard of anybody having therapy, right? Uh, did you guys hear of anybody having therapy when you were growing up?
I did. My mom had therapy.
Okay, so
Um,
I never heard of it.
yeah, my mom had therapy, and I remember podcast land. I have an older brother and a younger brother. My younger brother is 6 years younger than me. He had an issue when he was in elementary school, and my mother was told to get him help. What did she do? Prayed about it. She did. I'm gonna take it to Jesus, and I'm gonna leave it there.
Taking it to the altar.
Yes. So, as he got older, his mental illness really started to show. So, yes, I grew up in a household where mental illness was very prevalent in my family. So, I knew about therapy at a very young age. So,
Mm,
yeah.
Not
yeah.
in mine. In my, I think I cannot think of anyone who actually thought about therapy in my family.
Hmm.
And quiet as it's kept, I mean, they're not to tell any of my siblings or any of my nieces or nephews um, issues, but for me, I'm very open and honest with my therapy journey,
Hmm.
right? And so I'm okay with telling my therapy journey. But
Right.
Right.
my generation, the ones who have come after me, they understand the assignment.
Hmm.
Right.
My nieces and nephews who are younger than me, but my generation as my mom and my sisters and my brother, um, and maybe they didn't think they ever needed it. Who am I to tell them that they need therapy, right? Uh, I know Sister Fran right here needed it. I needed
Right.
Right.
to talk to because I was going to lose my mind up in here. Anyway, but
Right.
I remember going through therapy um, in my marriage, right? And the questions that she asked me, had I dealt with any trauma in my life? I said, no, no, I haven't dealt with any trauma because in my head, I hadn't, right?
Right.
She started breaking down to me right? What the trauma was. Me having being sexually assaulted or abused as a child, me being mentally and emotionally abused in my marriage,
Hmm.
me having an alcoholic father that I wasn't raised with, right? But
Right.
still missed it and didn't because I was that type of person where you can't miss nothing you never had.
All right.
Alive from the pit of hell, from the pit of hell. So I didn't know I needed it until I got it, right?
Right.
So no, it wasn't mentioned. And like I said, I have to thank you ladies because you encouraged me to,
Yeah.
girl, you need to go talk to somebody. You are not the one or the two. No.
You know, the same thing happened to me. The last therapist that I had asked the same question. And we kept talking. She looked at me, she said, "That's trauma." And I was like, "Really?" I kept talking. She said, "That's trauma." Did not know that what I had endured all of those years was traumatic. I just didn't, did not.
You just
And
accepted it.
I accepted it and moved on. And my thing is, I conquered that on to the next instead of like thinking about it and talking to someone about it and trying to figure out why. I just dealt with it and moved on to the next. And I did that. I probably still do it now, but I did that so much of my life. And one therapist that I had, yes, I said one because I've had several. You have to treat therapy like you would a job. You're interviewing them to see if they are capable of helping you. So, yes, I had several therapists until I found the right one for me. But one told me that all I do is I conquer something and move on to the next thing instead of sitting there with it and trying to figure things out. And so that really helped me in a big way. So, yeah, but because of my mother, and I thank God for her, I do see a therapist. Yeah.
Good. Good job. Good job. Yeah, it wasn't something that I heard a lot of as a child growing up. I did hear, people who lived in, perhaps insane asylums, but that's a very different scenario than someone that just simply needs to be able to talk and unpack some things and get it, off your chest. So we encourage you, please talk to somebody, tell a friend. But most
Yeah.
often, your friend can only sympathize, they can't really help.
Unless they're the lipstick diva who points things out at people. Yeah. Everyone needs a friend like me.
Yes. But y'all can't have mine. Y'all need friends like mine, but y'all can't have mine.
Can't have
But
mine,
let
can't
me
have.
let me say something that it was funny to me, and I don't know if it is true. But I have an aunt, and my dad used to tell me that she had mental illness, a mental illness, and they took her to the insane asylum. And if they kept her, you got a sack of flour or a sack of sugar or something like that. This was in Louisiana. I don't know if it's true or not,
You're
but they
right.
took her there and they got a sack of something. So,
But
That is hilarious.
and
oh, my
audience, we
dad.
can tell our generation, and if we are offending you, it's not because we want to, it's because this is how it was said back in the day. They called it
Yes,
insane asylum.
yes,
They
yes,
did.
yes.
They
And
did.
now, what is it, mental institutions or,
And
whatever
people
Yeah,
are mentally challenged, mentally ill. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
this
mean,
is
very,
not
very different time, very different environment. And which is why, if you feel like you need some help, or even if you don't think you need some help, you probably do, just go
probably.
talk to somebody because the world doesn't look at it in the same way. But unfortunately, in communities, people of color, it's still kind of a taboo. It's things that we don't really talk about. But I have my therapist on speed dial. Look, hey, when can I get in? So I think it's really important. I want to ask the next question, and it has to deal with crying and showing your emotions, right? So, did was crying allowed when you were a kid, or were you kind of told to, you know, dry those tears, or I'll give you something to cry about, or why are you crying?
I'll take that. I'll go first on that one. Um, I don't ever think that my mom told me that I couldn't cry, but when I grew up, I held back tears because it made it seem like I was
Weak, huh?
weak. That's the word I'm looking. Thank you so much. It made it seem like I was weak, right? And I remember my sister Vanessa, because crying is healing,
It
people.
is.
Crying is healing, whether or not you believe it or not, because you get yourself a good cry in, baby. And I remember my sister Vanessa, and I was going through some things, and I was like, I don't want to cry in front. I don't want to cry in front of him because he thinks he got me. You know, he think he got to me. She said, go in that bathroom, run some water, and cry. She said, you don't have to
Yes.
cry in front of him. Cry. Let it all out. She said, and when you're done, wipe, wash your face, and then come back out. She
Mm-hmm.
said, but do not hold those tears in. And so, for some of you don't know, my sister Vanessa passed away years ago. She was the one and the truth.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I was her princess, and that's what she told me, and she got me through. a lot of things as well. But I remember her telling me, cry, go in that bathroom and cry. And it doesn't mean that you're any less because you.
Right.
So that's what I'll share about my crying story. And Sister Friend will cry now. I cry here by myself.
You got to get it out. Got to get it
And
out.
look, and sometimes a sister will scream. So hey,
Do you put a pillow over so nobody
no,
can hear
because ain't
you?
nobody here with me. I'm gonna scream out loud. I
I
will.
don't want you to scare the neighbors.
Okay, the way I'm situated here, I don't have nobody on the side of me. Yep, I'm good. I'm good.
I want to touch on men and crying.
Mm-hmm.
Men, you know, were told, probably still are being told, that they should not cry. And
Right.
therefore, so many men have grown up um, mean, bitter, not knowing what to do with their feelings. And then some people say, well, once you're finished crying, the problem is still there. But it makes you feel better. And to me, in crying, um, sometimes what you need to do or should do comes to you through crying.
Right.
Right.
But when, yeah, men are taught you shouldn't cry, you shouldn't show your emotions, and I think that has messed up a lot of men in our society. And I don't think that there are women who have sons, and they're just trying to toughen them up. And it's just a misconception. Cry, shed a tear, let someone know that you're hurt, let someone know you need somebody to talk to. I'm talking to men and women out there, but really the men um, are told they should not cry.
Yeah. Yeah, and that stifles their emotional growth, making
It
them
does.
somewhat emotionally unavailable. And then we
Correct.
want to ask men, well, what's wrong with him? Or why doesn't he get me? Well, he's never been taught to be in touch with his emotions. So I happen to be a mom of two sons. And I can tell you the difference between the way that I raised my older son, who's an adult now. But while I wasn't in the category of telling him not to cry, he grew up with a lot of his uncles and a lot of,
Yeah.
rough and tough. He played football, that kind of thing. So he was not a big crier, but he is still an emotional, soft puppy dog, if you will, So he definitely is aligned with his emotions. And I have a son who's going to be a whole whopping 15 tomorrow. I'm not even ready for that. But he, I do give him room to show his emotions, and he's so um, connected to his little sister that he cries if she gets a whooping. So I,
That was me.
so I'm grateful for that. But crying is releasing. It allows
Hmm.
you to release what is bottled up, and like you said, Trina, often you discover what your next move is through those tears. So don't keep it
Exactly.
bottled up. I say go for it.
Right. And I am a
Oh, I
mother
have one more
as
thing.
well. I'm a
Go
mother
ahead,
of
T.
a son as well, and I taught my son it's okay to cry.
Hmm.
You know, it doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're soft. It just means that you're releasing, and it's
Yeah.
Hmm.
okay. And if anybody tells you that you shouldn't cry, it doesn't. It doesn't take anything away from it. Those are the ones that have the issues. You know,
Right.
they're holding things in and they're not letting things go. And later on down the line, folk gonna be sending them packages at the county jail
Right.
because
Right.
Exactly.
they kept because they didn't have any place to release all that, and then they decided that they were going to release it someplace else. You know,
Right.
and so I allowed him, to do that. and he still has his, his masculinity and his,
Yeah,
we
nothing
say he was
changed.
raised in South Central. He had to come correct. So
Right.
he knows what he needs to do when he needs to do it. So it didn't take anything from his manhood when things
Exactly.
bothered him. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just going to say, I saw both my parents cry, and my dad was this really tough man, but he would cry. And I think in seeing him cry helped me. And, but I saw both my parents cry. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. 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 Well, I want to go ahead and wrap this up with my very last question, and it has to do with emotions. Were emotions seen as a weakness or a strength? And I think we've kind of
Touched on
rounded
that.
that
Yeah.
already because even for women, many women were taught, don't, what are you crying for? And so
Hmm.
having that display of emotions, which is to your point, Trina and Tawana, while you see a lot of people, as you say, crashing out because they don't know what to do with those emotions. They've never been taught to one express your emotions, how to do so in a way that won't land you in jail, right? And kind of emotional intelligence. So
Right.
yeah, it's interesting. But y'all know I'm emotional. I if I ain't seen you in a while, when I hug you, I'm gonna cry. My niece won't even. She's like, Auntie, I don't hug me, don't touch me. And I'm like, my brother, when he comes to visit, he's just like, sis, why you crying? And this little lady here, she's just like, Ross, don't cry. So yeah, I'm very much in touch with my emotions.
Yes.
And no, I ain't weak.
Because we're thugging it out over here.
We're thugging
Yes,
it
we
out.
are. Yes, we are.
Yeah. What about you, ladies? Do you show your emotions? Are you raw, or do you contain your emotions, or are you able to express them in a positive way?
I have to, I do express my emotions. Now, my oldest daughter, Autumn, she's 43. She has an issue with the way that she feels that I am this really strong, tough person that nothing gets to me, and she's wrong. And then there I have Jazz, who's 41, my youngest daughter. She's like, Mom, I could tell when things get to you. But Autumn, I guess she needs to see my strength, and I think that she gains strength from me when she sees my strength. But I will cry. I don't cry often, but I do cry. And I don't see it as a weakness either. I see it as getting out what needs to come out.
Right.
But T, when I was married, I used to go get in the shower and cry. Yes.
Gotta do what you gotta do, girl. Gotta do what you gotta
So if
do.
I came out and my eyes were red, I just got out the shower. What are you talking about?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and for me, I it depends. It depends on the situation,
Right.
um, how I show my emotion or my strength versus my weaknesses. Because if you're someone that's, just keeps like pushing the button, um, if I start crying in those instances, it ain't because you hurt my feelings.
Right.
It's because you push me to a certain level, and it's probably best for me to walk away than to say what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to be able to, and it takes a minute because I held a lot in, and I did not share because I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings.
Right.
But then I realized that people didn't have a problem with hurting mine.
Nope.
So I had to learn at a later on in life how to be able to say the things and get it off of me,
Mm-hmm.
get my point across to you so that my emotions don't build up and then I blow up.
Right.
Because
Right.
I remember someone telling me, just tell me when you're upset with me. Because once you hold on to it, hold on to it, hold on to it, and then I explode and then I go off. That's why I don't argue with people that I love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how
No.
to argue fair. Because to me,
But,
Right.
I was going to say something, but I can't say that part. Okay, it's all out there, right?
mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna say that we're adults. It's all balls out at that time, right? That's where we are, and
Right.
so that's why it's like I want to be us to be able to discuss some things before we get so upset where we can't discuss something.
Right.
Now, mind
Absolutely.
you, if I don't care about you, I can cut you deep, Shrek,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that. And I think some people has taken that for weakness in some of the areas that I'm in, because I don't bite back immediately,
Mm-hmm.
they take it as a weakness. And it's not. It's I've learned to control my emotions.
You're
And
protecting yourself as well as them.
I,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. And they don't even know it.
No, they don't.
They don't know it. And so and now I it doesn't bother me how they feel. You know, they can feel that I'm weak, and it's okay, because when I go our separate ways, I don't necessarily have to see you anymore. And I can pack like you are a piece of the furniture.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with it. You may not understand it, but I'm really okay with that. But that's
Right.
how I protect my peace, right? And so but I had to get to that, right? Therapy helped me get to that. That's creating my boundaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I had to create boundaries and build on my, know what my weaknesses and know what my strengths was and know how to deal with those emotions when they come up.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a minute. It took a minute. I mean, 5:35 on the freeway, I'm calling Trina Roslin saying,
If not on the way to the
okay,
office.
exactly. So you got to do what you got to do. Get you some good girlfriends or guy friends, somebody that y'all can talk to, people.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you can talk to yourself and you'll talk yourself into some stuff. You need somebody else to talk to, because we can talk ourselves into some stuff.
Into it.
Hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about mindful as reclaiming and not luxury. We're coming up on the end of this segment, and I wanted to share with you different things that you can do to protect your peace and not have to apologize for it. So, saying no without guilt, because we all know no is a complete sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Journaling or voice notes. And I had an issue about journaling because I felt like somebody is going to break in my house and read my journals. And I didn't want to do that. So I still have issues about journaling. Breathing before reacting. Solo time without explanation. Choosing regulation over reaction, and saying to yourself, I will not be an emotional mule anymore. And ladies, I want each one of us to think of a health ritual that we're going to commit to for the week to come. I'll start. So, I was talking to my daughter, Jasmine, today, and I had shared with you ladies that speaking to your friends or family for 12 minutes, how good it makes you feel, how it regulates you. So I my ritual, because I shared that with Jasmine. I was like, hey, we got 16 minutes in. I'll say goodbye now. And we always say, I love you. Ella was in the car. We said, I love you. So that is something, because I talk to Autumn every day, all day. But Jasmine, because she's married, she lives in another state, she has a daughter. We don't talk as much as I talk to Autumn. So I am going to commit to at least 12 minutes of talk time with Jasmine every other day. So that's my commitment.
Um, for me, my commitment is more so protecting my peace. Um, and what that looks like may look different on each day.
Hmm.
Whether it's me saying no to something where somebody wants me to do something because it
Hmm.
protects my peace, me saying I need to take a mental health day because it
Hmm.
protects my peace, me not reacting to what someone says to me because it protects my peace. So I have to decide what is more important for me in order for me to get me to the next level or to the next chapter where
Hmm.
I'm I'm going to keep my sanity. So my commitment is for me to
Hmm.
be able to do things that are is going to protect me.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world, Tawana. I think you make very good points. I've had situations, and nobody would believe I've ever had situations, right, where my peace was robbed or that someone may have gotten the wrong impression of me because I'm such a charming person. But I do have a very strong personality, right? I tend to be very vocal. I tend to and I have the ability to rub some people the wrong way. And I recognize that. So I do try to honor their feelings and how my my big personality might make someone else feel. So I do try to tone that down when I can. Not dim my light, but make space, make room for the other person. But to protect me, to protect my peace, Twana, I do find it important to have those boundaries and to stand by them, right? I had an experience recently where many people thought I should be going right, and my exit was stage left. And while I had the care and concern for all the things that were happening on the other stage, it did not serve me well. And it
Hmm.
would have absolutely disturbed my peace. So I am committed, not just this week, but always listening to my internal voice, my true north, and understanding which direction I should go. Is it left or
Hmm.
is it right? And many people may not understand it or accept it, but those are my boundaries. And in order for me to have peace, in order for me to grow and still love, I've got to choose me every time.
I
Absolutely.
understand. And we will have one last word from the Empire Diva.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to be quick. There was a few on here, and I'm just kind of going to read them, but we're not going to talk about them all, right? Because we also want you always to come back, so we don't want to keep you long, but
Yes.
we also want to give you some good juice.
Yeah.
That secret sauce that makes y'all want to come back and y'all be licking your fingers and all that good stuff, right? So I want to talk about why has therapy been stigmatized? Say that 3 times. Stigmatized in our community, right? And some of the things that we have discussed among ourselves is, it was silence for survival, right? For me, with my sexual trauma. I didn't tell. It happened to me when I was between
Right.
the age of 8 and 9. I didn't tell anyone until I was 22. Right? I didn't know. I didn't know how. Right? No one had talked to me about that, and based on the things that happened to me, it also contributed to my low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I have told Trina and Rosalind this. Even me and my husband, we got married, we divorced, we got married again. But in between the separation, it was like the people who were coming into my life, the men who were coming into my life were usually married men. And I would say, "Do I have woman on the side
Right.
tattooed on my forehead?" you know but it had to be the way that I was carrying myself, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
part of mental illness. It's part of my low self-esteem falls into that. I was silent. I was being quiet in order for me to survive, right? Pain was normalized. Strong Black women conditioning. People conditioned us. We were strong. You don't do that. This is what, your life is supposed to be. You don't want to show your weakness. You're a strong Black woman, right? I
Right.
want, I'm ready for that soft age right now, right? Uh,
Yes.
don't tell people your business. We already talked about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens here stays here. Emotional numbing. We cope. We figure out a way to cope with things, right? It's a method
Mm-hmm.
for us, and so we figure out a way to get us from the one phase to the next phase to the next phase in order for us to survive, right?
Right.
Therapy is seen only for broken people.
Do we look broke?
Not
You
at
Are
all.
we broken? Do we look like we're broken? Not at all.
people will say, "What's wrong with you?" Can I tell you, when I was in therapy with my husband, and I would go on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock, and when I would come into the house in the evenings, he said, "Did you go to that thing today?" And I'm just as crazy, and I said, "What thing? What what thing are you talking about?" He was like, "That thing you go to on Tuesdays." "Hmm, I don't go to a thing on Tuesday. What we?" So I'm gonna play that role too, because
Right.
sometimes I got a petty Betty in me, right? And so, yeah, that's one of the things. People think that therapy is only for broken people. And then, were you ever told, and we've discussed this, you better not cry or I'll give you something to cry about? We've already discussed that part,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then, when did we realize that anxiety was anxiety and not just an attitude,
Hmm.
right? So people walk around and say, "Oh, she got an attitude. What's wrong with her? She got an
She
attitude."
thinks she all that.
Not knowing what you're dealing with.
Right.
Nobody knows what you're dealing with, and the way that you're coping, they're thinking that you have an attitude, and it's anxiety and you got an attitude. And then, do you think that being strong can cost you your softness?
Hmm.
You know? And
Absolutely.
so those are some of the things that we want people to think about. And ladies, if you want to talk about one or two of those before we head on up out of here, you know, we can do that. But I kind of wanted to mention some of those things, that to give our audience something. That's these braces, y'all. Let's give them something to talk about now. Um, uh,
She gonna sing a song every
All at all
podcast.
times.
Wait, and the ladies know, if they ask me who sing that song, I ain't gonna know. I can't put an artist with a song. I just don't. I can't.
Ever.
It would be over for me if I had to. But yeah, so if you ladies had something that you wanted to add to that, we can do that, or we can take it on out of here.
Well, I just want to talk about being strong if it costs you your softness. There are men who don't approach Black women because they have an attitude. They're always angry, just all this negative. So I think um, being strong sometimes does cost you your softness. And we as women need to learn how to be strong, but be soft as well.
Exactly.
Not just because we want the men, but I think for us, like Roz, you mentioned on our last podcast, if I was in my soft era, and I really am, I am, and I love it. I enjoy it. I love being pampered. I love being taken care of. Now he's seen the other side of me, and he still loves me. But I think for some, well, maybe even most, being strong can cost you.
Yeah, agreed. Nobody wants to be strong all the time, you
No.
know?
I'm tired.
Yeah, yeah.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
I am tired. And it's
Yes.
not what my husband, because I know you're listening, is not I want you to take care of me.
I'm glad you're putting this out there every single podcast
He's
because if
out
he's
there, he's
not
looking.
listening, somebody's going to say, "Hey man, I heard this podcast. I think you should listen."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's 61. Her son is 33. She has no younger children. She has a job.
She's very creative and talented.
Very, very.
I like to take long walks on the beach. I love to go to yoga
She's a
land
world traveler.
in the
Yes,
world.
she is. Her passport has many stamps on it.
Yes, 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 yes. So, but yes, so I like I said, I am, and I don't want to take out the trash.
And nor should you have to.
No.
I don't, I don't like taking out the trash. That
I
may
did it one time here and then I said, "What are you doing?" I haven't done it since.
right, right, and that may be okay. Okay, that may be okay for some people. Whatever's good for the
Right.
goose may not be good for the gander, right? Eh, Essie. But I don't like taking out the trash. I never had to take out the trash. When I was married, my husband took out the trash. My son took out the trash. Now that I live where I'm living, I gotta take out the trash. I don't like taking out the trash. So, husband, please know I don't want to take. I'm not taking out the trash. That's
Mm-mm.
it for me.
No.
So we good. So we all agree that softness is not a weakness.
It
Softness,
is not a weakness.
softness
Yes.
No,
is healed,
not at all.
it is healed strength. And so we're good. Am I taking us out?
You're taking us out.
I'm taking us out. All right. So thank you so much for being with us tonight on Triple Shot of Sass. Whenever you post something, please do hashtag Triple Shot of Sass or hashtag TSOS because that's who we are. You have the wise one, Rosalind. You have the firecracker, Katrina, and you have myself as the Empire Diva. And we love being in your boxes on Tuesday evening where you will get a triple shot of sass on Tuesday. I like to say triple shot Tuesday. Here we
Triple
are,
Shot Tuesday.
triple shot Tuesday. And here we are, and we are not stopping anytime soon. So we
Nope.
will see all of you in your box on Tuesday. Look for us every Tuesday. We love you, we thank you, and we'll see you later.
And we're out.
We're out.